All right. Hey, welcome back to another episode of the Final Stop Podcast. I'm your host, Daniel Bridgegad, live from the ever-glorious Mescal Manor, Mock something or other. Sitting to my right's the Vampire King himself, King Possum, Lord Meerkat. It's Tristan Bowling.
Mushy, mushy.
This is nice. Here we go, brethren. Here we go. We got some goddamn maturity on the podcast for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the co-host of the Burb Bros podcast, is Sean Donnelly.
Hey, that's code for you. We got an old fucker on the podcast.
No, because usually it's all these fucking whippersnappers coming in here.
Talking about what we're doing wrong on TikTok.
All these Thundercats.
That's good advice, though. I can only tell you this is what you would have done wrong in 2008. That's
well, what
that's
is
the
it?
wisdom that I have.
I was 10. Tell me.
My parents were suffering the housing crisis, and I was like, is Superman coming back on?
That was like the first time my parents ever had to sit me down. We're like, we might be inside for 2 weeks because that's when swine flu was going around.
2008?
Yeah, around there. Right?
It was like a lot of stuff. There was housing crisis, good year for movies. It was the No
Dark
Country
Knight.
for Old Men, There Will Be Blood year.
Oh,
for
you like
movies.
gritty films then, huh?
I like good movies. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
good
No Country
films.
for Old Men is
I like
great.
everything. No Country for Old Men is like one of my favorites.
Yeah.
There Will Be Blood is insane. I like movies, and I like movies like that.
Can you do gore? Can you do like?
I can't do gore.
No, I can't
I'm not
do
a
that.
scary movie guy.
Nah, for like the pop reason or for the gore reason? Because I can't do both. I'm a pussy.
I'm on the pop. You know what I'm good at? Thrillers, and I'm good at that. I'd be
Yeah.
okay with thrillers, but the pop. Yeah, like the out of the bushes scare. I'm not a fan.
I feel like a schmuck every time too. I'm like, you got me, but fuck you. It's like,
yeah, it's kind of like I should. Also, don't you try to like watch the whole thing, like thinking like it can happen at any time. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I'm gonna win this.
yeah, you do.
It's almost
You
like a
get
contest.
you get real cocky, and you get one right too. You're like, he's gonna be behind the counter. I know it. And you're like, ah, there he was.
There he was, dude. You know what I heard actually when the people they talk about like online dating or like things that make people compatible.
Mm-hmm.
They say if you're into scary movies and you can find somebody into them, it's like one of the top 5 things that makes people last as a couple because of how deeply people love horror movies when they love them.
I've gotten my girl. See, I love horror movies.
Okay.
And so I got my girlfriend into him because she fucking hated him when we
Okay.
started dating.
So she was a convert.
Yeah, she was a
Which
con.
you never really hear of, to be honest.
I
No,
know.
Usually you have a hard stance on that, and then you don't come across the other side.
Yeah, no, I she had some wiggle room. She'd be like, well, if you like it. And I'm like, the only reason that like people get scared is because they get so engrossed. If you just like take yourself out of the movie and realize that there's craft services like very close to this woman screaming.
See, but I'm such a big movie fan. Why should I have to do that?
Why? I was just
Why-
about to
I mean,
say.
it's
that.
not-
I want to ensconce myself in the movie Velvet. I want to be part of the movie.
You want to
Yeah.
dig into the covers.
You fucking psycho.
I would
Do you
dig
do
into the
that?
covers.
Do you do that during like dramas too?
So if you're like, so you're basically the whole time just going, not real, not real, not real.
Can't
not
get
real.
me, it's not real.
No, it's me just sitting there like, oh, this is interesting. Okay.
Okay, so you're looking at it from like almost like a filmmaker perspective
You're
in
an
a way, but even
avant-garde
filmmakers
dickhead.
when they're watching other movies are into them. Like that's why I don't mind long movies. Not
Yeah.
to switch topics, but if a movie, I don't care if a movie's if it's good, if it's 4 hours,
Yeah.
I'm in it. You see Killers of the Flower Moon?
Yeah.
Fantastic. But I don't want to. I want to be taken into the world of the movie. So which is why probably I'm not a big scary movie guy.
Yeah.
But I get what you're saying. That's a good way to combat the heebie-jeebies.
What's your favorite type of scary? Do you do like the Christian shit, or do you like just straight? There's a guy in the house with a knife.
Nah, I'd say my favorite scary movie, which is kind of just hack to say, is I really love Hereditary.
I don't think it's really hack. I heard that, and then nobody have ever talked about that movie. I won't watch it.
Oh, really?
Because of what I've heard about that movie.
Yeah.
That and the other one that he did.
Midsommar?
Midsommar.
Yeah.
Because I heard it's so psychologically terrifying that
Yeah.
I don't think it's like hot sauce. I haven't had enough of the heavy hot sauce.
you haven't tasted the capsaicin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, I feel that way too. I feel like I want to live. Ignorance is bliss. I don't need to like make me believe that like the universe is like this shell and we're all in a simulate. No, I got.
You don't want to feel like a sacrificial lamb in your own home?
No, I don't want to.
That sounds like a great night.
It just cuts to M. Night Shyamalan or whatever, and you're like, so I mean nothing. What's the point of this?
Yeah, do you want to have to like call your mom and be like, were we good growing up?
Yes. Yeah. Were we actually safe?
Yeah.
She's like, what are you talking? What movies are you watching?
Good stuff.
It's the plot of Hereditary. It's like that mind fucking.
It's like it's like one of those movies where you watch it twice and you're just like, oh fuck, the scary thing was there the entire time.
I don't
It's
like
like
that.
there is heavy implications that everything around them is working against them, and it's like you kind of don't you sort like by the time you're done you've sorted through the tea leaves and you're just like look at it again, just being like, oh, they're fucked.
So it's not really gore. It's kind of gory. It's not gory.
It's kind of gory. There is some heavy gore scenes that make you like mad uncomfortable. But like there is like it's a lot of just like sitting there. Like one of my favorite scenes in it is like they use like the brightness of one scene to counteract another scene to where it cuts from like they're in the middle of a fire, then it cuts to a pitch black room, and you have to let your eyes adjust. And once they adjust, you see the scary thing in the corner.
That's smart.
And I'm just it was one of those things where I was first watching. I'm like, oh, and I'm just like, oh, that's good. Oh, like I feel like it turned into Wallace and Gromit.
So
like,
it's super original. It doesn't have those same tropes.
Yeah. Where it's like you watch the when I was hyped on the trailer since the first time I saw that, and I was just like, I thought the movie was completely different, subverted my expectations in the first 20 minutes, and I'm just like, okay, so where the fuck are we going?
Yeah. That's another thing about movies is going in fresh. Going in fresh can help you love a movie, I think, or maybe hate it.
You're saying no opinions. Like
bad,
you don't know
it's
what
bad.
your boy thinks. You don't know what your
You know nothing. You know barely anything. I saw. You ever see Hell or High Water?
No.
So good.
It's nice.
Right?
What's it about?
You know the guy. What's the show on Paramount Network? Yellowstone.
Yeah.
The guy Tyler Sheridan that does those shows, and then he did another one with Jeremy Renner that was like based in like wintertime.
Yeah.
But it's basically like a modern day Western with Ben Foster. I don't know if you guys know who that is. He's like a character actor. Guy probably could have been famous, but he's like one of these heavy actors that's like, I just want to pick the roles that I want to do.
Yeah.
And Chris Pine, you know Chris Pine from Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
So they're brothers, and like they're going broke, and the one guy's like kind of like a psychopath. I don't want to tell you. I want you to just see it outright. But it's basically a modern Western bank robber movie. But I had no idea about any of it before I went into it, and I saw it. It's like in my top 5 of movies.
Yeah, you're like, this shit's kind of... I feel like that's the only time that I do like movies. It's like on a random Sunday, once I finish watching my like comfort show, and I'm like, I'll try this. But like, if my wife is ever like, I know you'll like this, my brain just goes, I'm going to pick every hole in this goddamn movie.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
You're like, I'll show you.
I'll show you.
This is a dumb girl movie. My wife likes.
Yeah. Because even back in the day, I'll speak from my old man experience, they could like hide things from you about movies. They can't do that anymore, really. Like, so when you do see a movie fresh, it's like it's really refreshing because like I don't know if you ever saw From Dusk Till Dawn. Speaking, it's kind of horror. It's vampires.
Yeah.
I like vampire movies. I like vampire movies.
Twilight.
Yeah,
Come
So you can do like a 30...
Strictly Twilight.
It's strictly Twilight. I'm one of the classics guys.
Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah. Strictly Criterion for me.
Anything hunk based.
Yeah.
I like six packs.
I like six packs and
Yeah.
But From Dusk Till Dawn, the original, you guys know what that movie? It's been out for 30 years.
Yeah.
The original plan was that they were just going to market it as an escape convict, like bank robber type movie, like where these guys, Clooney and Tarantino, are just on the run, escape prison, and they're gonna make it look like a chase movie. Yeah. And then you get to the theater, and then you find out 40 minutes in or whatever that is, 30 minutes in. Yeah. Oh fuck, it's a vampire movie.
Vampires are real.
Vampires are real.
Yeah.
But they didn't do it, I guess, for whatever reason. I think it got leaked or whatever happened. But even back then, that would have been really hard because after the opening weekend, it would have been cats out of the bag.
They can't even think about doing that nowadays.
No, you can't even imagine.
No, because you get some fucking virgin on Mojo Movies or whatever being like, anyway, here's...
This one guy just being like, do you know Santa's in the MCU? It's like, shut up, dude. Fuck.
Here's 7 Easter eggs in the whole plot of next summer's blockbuster. You're like, I don't need you.
It's a guy just commenting on the trailer trying to scoop everybody. See that table? That was also in this scene over
Look
here.
at that table. Keep that in mind.
Also, what a swaggy job, low key though. You get to just sit and you probably get screeners. You probably get to watch all the movies first, so you can.
Those reviewer guys, like the Mojo guys.
Yeah.
Oh, it's probably easy peasy. But you work for Mojo.
I always want to get a screener.
What about? I've gotten screeners. SAG gives you screeners.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, they were pretty cool. But now they don't. Now it's like you go on a site. It used to be you get DVDs in the mail and you're like, yes.
Either way, that's swaggy as hell. Even if they give you like a QR code for the early release or whatever.
That's what they're doing. Now they do a thing where it's a link and then it's like whatever. It's like.
But you got it before the general public, though.
You get it before the general public.
Nothing's better than the feeling of better than in the morning, isn't it, boy? You just wake up.
Yeah, no, dude, my
just become a morning elitist.
Yeah,
it's 7:13 in the a.m. and I'm already better than you.
I start with a thick schmear of narcissism in the morning.
Sure,
thick schmear.
Ricky Bobby,
go down down from there. You're walking around.
Man, I've had days like that before where it goes bad at 7:13. It also goes good at 7:13, and they're both scary because you're like, fuck, dude, it can't get any better than right now.
Dude, my uncle in LA, he was like a part of like, he does rigging and stuff for movie sets. So
Nice.
he was like, we would go into his guest house and we would go see like his old screeners, and I would always get like nervous touching them. I'm like, am I allowed to even touch this? It's like, yeah, it's The Proposal. It's like, that came out a while ago.
Yeah, he just has them left over.
Yeah, and I'm just like, we don't even have a DVD player.
Because it has the warning on the thing where it says, do not.
Yeah.
Like, do not duplicate. Do not. Yeah.
Ryan Gosling will fuck you up personally.
I bet you those do eventually maybe hold some weight, like an original Scooby-Doo 2 Escape from Monster Island screener or
Some
something.
autistic retard would buy that for sure.
There's
dude.
got to be someone with a collection of them. And they just started a TikTok where they're like, check out my collections of screeners. I have a buddy of mine who actually does, and it actually, there's a market for it, and there's like a world for it. He has DVDs and VHSs, and then he's just made a video a day, and now he does pretty well. People just telling him, do you have this? And then he just scoots his chair over and he goes right there. He has like every movie.
And he's just pointing to it?
He's pointing to it, and it gets like thousands of views because he's like, they're like, we're trying to stump you to see if you have this particular movie.
Damn,
Yeah.
he just got everything.
He's got pretty much everything,
Does he have like the old school, like, what do you call them, like DVD, like rack holders or whatever? Like the people would, they put them right next to their TV and be like, I got a catalog.
I don't know about that, but he has like, he full on has like bookshelves filled with them for the VHSs. I'm not sure about the DVDs.
And some of them are probably like, I wish I got into a hobby like that. I feel like I switched hobbies 7 times in my youth and never really like stayed on one thing.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd be so rich now.
You totally would. There is the thing now for the Blu-rays and the DVDs where it's like people are just collecting physical media because of how much.
It's all online.
Because you can't you can't. There's nothing like to hold on to. I kind of bummed that I got rid of my DVDs because I remember in my early 20s and like teens like. The Criterion collection was like a big thing. Remember Criterion collection? I was like, and I get all the Wes Anderson ones and whatever ones that made sense for me. And then if I had those now, I'd just like to have them like, I don't
Just
know,
a touch
locked
of it.
somewhere. Yeah, just to like, I don't even have a DVD player, just to be like, I collected these at one point.
To me, that sound of pressing the DVD out of the actual case, you get that little just click with
That
your
was a
thumb.
cool.
And also the
Kids don't know.
the DVD menu screens.
We're cool. We're really cool.
I loved them.
And they try to get more and more inventive with them.
Except for like when you pass out and watching a movie and then you wake up to the first 14 seconds of something 95 times over and over again.
You ever hear about the one for Superbad? You know Superbad?
Yeah.
Where that one, it goes on for a long. They just had Michael Cera, I think just Michael Cera, dance almost like one of those old Apple commercials. Dance for like hours just in front of the screen, and they just if you play it, you won't see the same dance move for like at least I think an hour and a half or something crazy.
Just
like
to be fun and be like,
just to be like, hey, it's not the same thing.
Because when they started doing those, it was like they just play like maybe a clip of the movie damn near, and then it like went into this whole like I remember Ice Age 2, The Meltdown had like an interactive one where it's like they would talk shit to you kind of and like entice you to watch the movie. Ray Romano's just talking shit.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
just heckling you to watch the movie.
Yeah, just
Come
great.
on!
Come on, do it.
I'm a Willie Mammoth. Come on!
That was great. They don't have nuance shit like that no more. I think the last thing that was on digital that had a cool like whatever it was called District 9. You remember that?
Oh, District
Yes.
9 ruled.
District 9 was awesome. And they were supposed to do District 10 and they never did, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they
supposed to
did
do a
Chappie
sequel.
instead.
Right, they did Chappie.
Wait,
Was that-
Chappie's in the District 9 universe?
It's the same guy.
Same guy who did it. The Australian guy.
Yeah.
It's the guy who's in them. He just uses that actor or is that the director himself?
I think that's the director,
I think
too.
it is. Because he's the voice of the stone guy in Ragnarok, right? Isn't that
Oh
him?
yeah, the
he
New Zealand
is.
right?
ruler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Korg.
Korg.
Yeah.
He's great. He's hilarious.
For some, I thought you said the stoned guy. And
yeah,
I'm like, who's fucking baked in Ragnarok? He's
No,
going.
Everybody watching it?
Yeah, dude, great movie to be baked watching.
It's so good. I'm convinced they wrote that movie and then they came in and punched it up after the fact. Like they just wrote it straight up and they just had somebody come in and be like, okay, here is the batshit crazy
You're saying
version of it.
Ragnarok?
I think
Yeah.
so. Because it's so different from any other Marvel movie.
Well, they were doing didn't it have like it wasn't like Miami Vice, but it was like an 80s kind of like branding behind it, or 70s or 80s. It had like a.
The one after it had a little bit more. It was a
Love and Thunder.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah,
and it wasn't
Love and
as
Thunder.
good
No.
as Ragnarok. I think there was a lot of pressure for the follow-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was really excited for it, and I watched it. The ending's awesome. Like, it's a good ending, but Ragnarok is just nothing really... I think my top Marvel movies, I think.
Are you
It's
like a big
good.
Marvel head?
I I know enough about him. I think I'm of that first wave that everybody kind of signed on
Up
for.
10,
Yeah.
I was like so excited for as long as people were, and then you kind of weren't. Then you saw some other ones that you were like, I could tell by the trailer this is going to be a little.
This is going to be absolute
crappy
load of shit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I'm willing to give any of them a shot. You know, but now you can just tell the gas is run out. But it was like bound to. They had like it was like 15-0. Like it was like
they were great.
It's like a Super Bowl championship of Marvel movies.
Yeah.
That like they didn't have a bad one. What was it? Maybe the first Thor they said was kind of crappy, but not even
Second
that bad.
Thor is notoriously bad.
Maybe that's
The
it.
Dark World.
Why, you guys big Marvel guys?
No, but I started getting into like WWE when Jonathan Majors got accused of all that bullshit. Because I always like when like the outside life influences the
actual movies.
Because they were gonna we're just gonna go with Kang. That's gonna be the new bad guy. That's what we're
They
gonna do.
put a lot around it.
And then he's like, "Oh yeah, I chased a girl down the street." And they were like, "All right, next guy, let's pivot."
Robert Downey Jr. has a $30 million hole in his pocket. And
Yes. Yeah. Right. Exactly.
did.
It's kind of a thing where it's like it shows you how much time matters, because Robert Downey Jr. did some fucked up things, but he was like on recovery and it was like drug related, so it almost didn't matter as much. But the time that guy's in, like that could not have worked, because he was just in Creed 3,
Yeah,
and he was
you can't-
awesome in that.
Yeah.
And it was like, dude, it was like if you just your timing, and I don't know what happened with that, his whole real life
Even
thing.
the fodder around it, Marvel's too big. It's like you
too
can't have
big.
any of that noise
No,
circulating
there's
around
like
your main
kids
guy.
involved and stuff, and
Yeah.
people half hear things. Even if it's like somewhat, it's a gray area, which I don't even know if it was. But even if it was, you could be like, hey, it doesn't matter. Just the sheer idea. We're putting.
Anytime you hear another
$1 billion.
person it's bad, you can do a little yak, stay up late, throw a TV off a balcony, whatever. whatever.
Yeah.
It's rowdy, but you can't.
Yeah,
you
you
can't
can-
start chasing ladies down the street.
Yeah,
whatever
you
you're
can
doing.
run yourself over with a tractor drug wise, but please God, stay in the house. Only hurt yourself.
Well, he didn't
Yeah.
pay his dues either, because like on the road back to recovery, this motherfucker was just out here doing movie after movie that was hitting. Downey Jr. did Sherlock, son. He was in a couple bullshit movies before he
Sherlock was good.
Sherlock was good.
You calm your.
You don't like Sherlock?
No, it's such a piece of trash.
Two
movie.
versus one, he's the guest. Sherlock is good.
Oh, you really didn't like it? What did you like about it? I actually went into it not knowing what was going to happen, meaning if I was going to dig it, and I was into it.
before he was like made that his, at least to me, his thing, being the kind of like snide cunty whatever, being a Tony Stark.
Yeah.
I got annoyed with him as like just an actor in general. I didn't like his kind of like
It's like,
I don't even know how to describe it. Just
I know
the
what you
weird
mean.
mannerisms that
like
he has.
snarkiness that you said.
But
Like,
then they were like, actually, he's 100 billionaire with a cool suit, and I go, that's the only time that could be sick. That's the only time that could be sick. You know, like being handed things. That makes sense.
oh, it has to be like the character has to make sense for it.
Yeah, which I mean, I know I'm not a big movie head, and it's like a horrible take on it. 'Cause you're like, so every
No, it's
person
not.
then
It's
should
interesting.
be
I
like,
know what you mean. Like only Iron Man makes sense for that thing, because he's just Iron Man and everything. With
Dude,
Iron Man with
that's
an
how I
English
feel it.
accent.
Yeah.
Iron Man. Yeah.
Dude, him with doing the screen test for Iron Man is so tight. He has like basically a half page to go off of, and then just improvs.
Yeah.
And you can immediately tell he's like, it's supposed to be the scene when the reporter comes up to him in the first Iron Man movie and just being like, war crimes, what's next? And he's like, you in my bedroom. and he nails it. It's awesome.
He's just
dude.
good. He's good. He's like a good movie star. But I can see that. I really liked, and also you have the Guy Ritchie, because Guy Ritchie made a bunch of, the Snatch guy made a bunch of clunkers, and they were bad after Snatch, like they were trying to be Snatch again.
Yeah.
And when he got Sherlock, it was kind of a good mix of like, ooh, I got Snatch again, but it's like big budget Snatch.
Yeah.
It's like
yeah.
that same kind of thing. It's like, ooh, it's like lowbrow English Snatch, like, but also like high
Because of the
budget
name behind it,
blockbuster,
too.
and the name behind it, exactly. But let me ask you this: based off that same principle,
Okay.
dead Ryan Reynolds, and because it's kind of the same
I
deal.
love it. Yeah, he shouldn't be doing shit. He should be doing it's not Zoolander. What's the one where he's in college for too damn long?
Van Wilder.
He should just be Van Wilder in Deadpool. Everything else I don't need. Everything else I don't need
All right,
at
so
all.
you excuse those two, and but everything else,
Yeah,
you're like, screw
but
it.
he needs to be the snarky guy that somehow gets the girl in every rom-com. That doesn't fucking make sense to me. He's just a cunt for 40
He's
minutes.
too charming to be like the underdog in anything. Like it's like
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
I don't know. I've just seen too many. I've seen my girl too many times be like, he doesn't do it for me, which makes me actually believe that she's like, if I ever saw that guy, I'd suck his dick.
Yeah.
She's trying to be nice. Like,
Yeah, you got his face laminated in her panties and shit like that.
Because for whatever reason, I think I'd be more mad if she was fucking him than like a Michael B. Jordan. Because at least that's like up the ilk. If I just came back and she was just fucking a real goober that was like, that's not me at all. It's like if you got the better version of me, I'd be like, I could see that. I could see
you understand it more.
that. Yeah, you're like I can't even What? He's a Canadian white dude. I don't know.
If you're fucking Creed, you got to be like, all right, Creed, you were all right. Thanks.
I would fuck Creed. What? Michael B. Jordan is
the guy's the man.
You're not even the most famous Michael Jordan. Get out of here.
He's all. It's insane. I'm a big Wire guy. I'm a big fan of the show The Wire. Which is also a little bit hacky, like your Midsommar Hereditary.
Yeah.
Thing. But I don't care. It's the best thing I think ever.
Never seen it.
It's great. It's fantastic.
It's
now.
fire.
I have a friend of mine who's like, it's dated. Like a few years ago, he's like, it's dated, and it is because the whole premise of the show is them putting a tap on a wiretap on payphones in Baltimore, and it's like, okay, I can get it. If you're in your 20s now and you're watching that, you'll be like, that's taking me out of it. I actually do agree with that, but I'm of the age where I'm like, I can watch it, and the acting's so good, and everything's so good about it.
The fool who plays Omar is amazing, dog.
What'd you say?
The fool who plays Omar with the scar on the top of his head is amazing.
What's his name?
He just died.
Michael T. Williams. Yeah, he just died. Yeah. But Michael B. Jordan is 15 in it, and he's 90 pounds, and he's in it for like a season or two.
Yeah.
And he's great in it, but not where you're like, that guy's going to be
That's the
a
next
movie
guy.
star.
Yeah.
Like he's really, really good in it, and he's a good kid actor. They have a bunch of good like teenage actors in it, but you wouldn't be like he's going to like save the Rocky franchise.
Yeah.
Like he's going to take something from my childhood and make it like even better. You know?
You could really remake kind of that show, but because the premise was tapping like payphones. But now, have you seen some of like high tech shit that the cops put in the hood? Like these things where like they have cameras all over the damn place, and they can just tell where like people frequent, what houses people are coming in and out, and there's analytics that just AI spits out. It's like this one, they're serving up crack. This one right here.
How do they do it? What scans it?
So like they'll put a camera on like a convenience store, and it'll show like a street on like a block, and then they'll just have a time lapse from like a week of time where people are coming in and out of constantly, where street corners are getting like stood on, and then it just spits out analytics where it's like this one. People
and they said AI can't be racist.
Technically, it's not. It's all numbers.
But is that based off that company? I'll watch the Bill Maher show sometimes. They had a guest, and the guy, it's AI, but they help on the battlefield, but they said they've been using it for commercial.
I would imagine
and police as well.
I would imagine it started tracking caves, and then it slowly merged into like.
Do you know what's close to a cave? A trap house.
It takes an abundance of data, and then it spits out whatever results you need out of that data.
And it also has a heat sensor on it, just because why the fuck not?
Why not? Yeah. But that's because I was going to say when you said, the new thing now, because even back then they had them, but when people are like, somebody the other day was like, I don't think I'm not filmed all the time, and I was like, are you kidding me? You're filmed constantly. Like if somebody needed to find you tomorrow, and you live in New York City, and they go to the cops, and the cops, whatever the statute of time was, they could probably find you.
They need to mark you at one location. If they can find, if they know you were here at 7:47, they could track every single fucking location you.
I would say go underground, but that's not even safe.
Unless you live in a rural area, they have you, and even then, it's like technically, I think that they can turn your Wi-Fi router into a. This is real conspiratorial. I think they
turn into a goddamn transformer.
No, they do it on. Even when you remember Serial was out, and they were talking about the guy killing the girl in Maryland, and that was 98 or something. And even back then, flip phones were pinging on the towers.
Yeah.
So you can only imagine. I don't know if it changes with smartphones, but yeah, I would say Wi-Fi route, everything pings. Anything hitting a cell tower is or a Wi-Fi tower is probably pinging.
Even the card in your pocket now, probably the chip in
your pocket.
The chip in your pocket. Literally, just an indicator of where you're walking around.
Well, you ever see when they have it? What the scammers do now, where they take
the scammers on top of the fucking cash things.
Yes. That and also. Oh, you mean at the
I want to rip apart one of those every single time I see them. Just like I always grab the like rubber tassels around the pin
to see if it's like loose.
To see if it's loose, and just being like, you motherfucker.
Or are you talking about?
So you can like uncover the scam.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the mobile scanners, the ones where people can like touch your pocket?
That's what I'm talking about.
It's fucking nuts.
So somebody can come behind you with I think it's RFID scanner and scan your card from your pocket without you even taking out your wallet. Because chances are it's like it's far enough. It's out where it could they go like this, boop, and it picks it right up, either maybe off the chip or whatever it is, gets your number without you even knowing it.
They sell wallets.
They sell blockers.
They sell wallets that have like this metal thing on
RFID
the outside.
blockers?
Yeah. This is fucking lit, dude. We're living in a tactical
I'm going to cover myself in tinfoil. I don't feel safe outside.
And they probably still have the old methods. I remember my buddy, he said that one time back in the 90s, he was on the subway. We went to college in the Bronx, and he's on the subway, and he would always put his hand on his wallet, and he said for a second and a half, he moved to get somebody by, And then they went by and went back, and his wallet was gone. Meaning that somebody was watching him the whole entire time,
and like kind of knew his movements on like what was going on.
Movements, and then watched for the minute that he got let go of his wallet, and he full on. It was like he said, "Dude, I left my pants pocket because it was so packed." He's like, and it was the '90s, a little bit worse. It was a little bit worse than it is now here, and he's like, and it was a second, and it was gone.
Jesus,
I know somebody else that this guy he was drunk on a train, and he woke up, and I don't know if you know this trick. They slice your pants pocket. If you're loaded enough and they have enough time and nobody's around, they slice your pants pocket and take your wallet out of your pocket, and then just leave you to your devices.
Do you know what happened?
Isn't that crazy?
What happened to a buddy of mine? Like when the first months, it said instead of slicing his pocket, they sliced his face. They just stabbed him in the face and took his stuff.
Way more effective.
He just stabbed him in the face. It turns out he was willing to relinquish his items.
He's like, take my wallet. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I love shit like that. I love. I don't know the name of this dude, but he's like an ex Navy SEAL, and he has his podcast. And they brought on this penetration tester.
Oh, is it Ryan something?
Yeah.
The bald-headed guy.
Yes.
The penetration tester sounds like a dildo.
No.
Keep going.
But he brings on this like real skinny dude, just this real.
I've seen this. Okay, sorry.
This real innocuous looking fool.
And it's that like fucking like literally looks like a fryer at McDonald's looking guy.
But he comes with gadgets from fucking hell, dog.
And they look like nothing. They look like an antenna.
Just an iPhone cord. He'll just be like, this.
You see this Altoids can? It's a nuke.
It's
pretty much that
penetration catcher. It's kind of like the same premise as like Catch Me If You Can.
Oh yeah,
that's just like
another great movie.
You got so good at being a criminal that they were just like, please God, don't
work for us.
Yeah, don't use this against us. Go this way.
I've seen those things, and he'll come up with something that looks like a piece of a motherboard, and then he's like, "Oh, I cracked the back of your iPhone, then I turn your iPhone into a scanner for other cell phone networks in the neighborhood, and I can literally get into anybody's computer that's within 3 miles of the whatever." And you're sitting there like, "Oh my God, we're all screwed."
Those fucking petrify, and it's real. Just like he'll be like, you plug this cord in, everyone's mom in the room dies tomorrow.
What
the fuck?
Yeah,
see, I
it
touched
becomes
this.
The Ring.
Yeah, your neighbor's laptop just became a hibachi grill.
Well, what the scariest part is like, what you probably got to use like you got to have like credentials, and it's like, no, Amazon 1773, and you're like, what the fuck? Like anyone can just buy this?
But also, what he's not saying is that you also have to know the exact tech requirements.
You got to be smart as fuck.
I think
put on a list immediately.
Because I'm guessing he's doing a lot of that stuff to like either a laptop or a phone, right? So it's like you need the laptop and the phone. So you have to know exactly what to put that, exactly what to look for.
You kind of got to know what you're doing for sure. But
did you ever see the one where he just goes into the chat room with the pedophile chat room?
No.
Oh, dude, easy pickings. I love it.
Yeah, he full on goes in there and he's just typing furiously, and he's like, I can find you 10 of these guys in a minute and a half, and he's like, do it. And he goes into one, and he's like, I'll go to it wasn't a black web thing or dark web thing. It was a it's called a black.
I like black web.
Man, what the fuck's going on here? You talking to fucking kids?
That's why I get Zod.
Yeah,
dark web. It was like regular chat room. That was like just a text chat, and he goes in and he knows exactly what to say. And in 10 guys, he tells him he's 13. He's a girl, 13 years old. From here, and in a minute and a half, he has 10 guys sending pictures and doing stuff. It's so fast.
What I don't understand is that these pedophiles live in a website where, first off, the layout looks, the way the page is laid out hasn't been updated since 2007. It looks like pedophiles live there. Like if it was a house, that's like a pedophile. What do like?
Even though it's just text.
Yeah.
It just looks like a GeoCities page from 30 years ago. Yeah. Exactly.
It has like blue hyperlinks you have to click that open up 3 new tabs.
Because I think that they don't mind not having any frill. They just want to get down to business.
Yeah, they still have ads for like ways to change your cursors and shit like that.
I was gonna say if your email is still .aol, you should immediately be put on a list. All those fools are hanging around in one little area.
And you know something's up. My favorite was, remember they had the Catch a Predator show with that guy
Chris
Hansen, and then he got in trouble for other stuff. He almost went to jail for something else.
A little bit of yak, a little bit of TV out a window. What did he do?
I forget what it was. But it was
went full Robert Downey Jr.
Might have been fraud. Yeah, might have been fraud or something. But I remember my favorite things with those were they just started being funny with them, where like there's an episode where like they tell this guy, it's the same guy. He comes back a second time, and they tell the guy, the girl, the supposed girl on the thing goes, take off all your clothes, go to the garage, and bring me a 6-pack of Mike's Hard Lemonade. And sure enough, they go, the guy's here. He just texted. They go in the garage. This guy's
naked.
In his not naked, like in his boxers, with the lemonade sitting there. I'm like, maybe this is all bullshit, but who knows? But it was like hilarious when you watch it.
No,
dude,
oh my God.
I mean, like, there's no way someone needs a SAG-AFTRA card that hard to where they'll be like, listen, I'll pay my dues, but my first role, I was a boxer's pedophile, 305.
But then at least something happened to those guys, right? Like, didn't he work with the cops? Then the cops would then come in and.
Well, that's the thing. But what they don't tell you is that. I think Saint Germain told me, he goes, there's like a show or like a thing where they're like, it's like To Catch a Predator, where are they now?
Yeah.
Where like you can go. and he goes, some of them committed suicide, which is true.
Oh, really?
Yeah, apparently. But he's like a few of them. But he said a lot of them, the cases get thrown out because it's not, they can make a case for entrapment if they don't say anything. So you see some of them and they come in and they go, no, I don't know what you're talking about. And then they're just quiet the whole time and they get a lawyer right away. A lot of them get away with it and it's fine.
But some people feel enticed to talk to Mr.
Imagine
Handsome.
being that lawyer.
I think a lot of them are so floored that, or so surprised, they're just like, I'm gonna try to get out of this because they don't know what it is yet.
Dude, this is back in the age when like internet chat rooms were still a newer thing, and like kids were getting met up with. So like these kids, like these dudes, come up here and they're like, guaranteed kid pussy, and then they sit down into like, hey, why'd you have a full black curtain in the border between your kitchen and laundry room?
Yes, right.
Yeah.
Why every time? Why is the girl like, well, I just gotta go get something, and she runs away while you come up to the house.
I left my phone in the oven. And
Although I feel like it's got to be getting better because the level of the pedo stays the exact level, like the same level of stupidity. But like I have a sister who's 17 and she was like 13 not that long ago.
Nice.
They're built different now. They're smart. They understand. They're not.
Check him.
Nice.
They're not like they understand now. Like the trope of like. There's going to be because a 45-year-old little creepy bro who's like trying to attract a 13-year-old doesn't say skibbity riz or whatever the fuck all these young kids are saying.
Yeah, it's like a language. Probably.
Where it's like they don't understand. It's like
I'll hear some of those words, like even just because of comedy and because we have to be online, I'll hear words that I'm like, I have no. Some of them you can figure out. The worst one, which I was talking about this recently, glizzy. I didn't know what glizzy meant.
Means hot dog.
It means freaking hot dog.
Or some instances,
nitroglycerin became glizzy. I need to make sense out of it to not be
That's
mad
your
as an old
guess?
person.
I mean, that is very chemical.
That's what. But like,
That's
what
the
else?
only thing that gets this nigga to sit up.
It's the only things. I'm sorry, God, because there's a lot of stupid shit from when I was a kid. But I'm like, what the fuck is a just say hot dog or say
no. But all your stuff
coming
is
from
now,
a glizzy gobbler myself.
but all your
It
stuff
sounds
is now all your stuff is now like common zeitgeist. Like my kids will just think that if a hot dog has always been called like it's called a Frank too, right?
Frank, yeah.
Yeah, that's an older thing.
Frankfurter, which I never said Frankfurter.
I mean,
always
a couple
hot dog.
Franks, but like I would imagine that like what did you call when something would like when you wanted to we say chill or I guess hang out had to eventually what did you call when you wanted to like
hang out, chill?
Did your parents think that was like slang though at the time?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
yeah.
Like,
No, it was definitely
kids.
slang, but glizzy. When I hear glizzy,
well, it's crazy. You can't even eat a hot dog, and if you're chocolate, you can't even eat a hot dog in public anymore.
Yeah,
it's absolutely
throwing
absurd.
glizzies like a champ.
I'd eat a hot dog sideways the other day.
Yeah, like corn on the cob.
You know the little stickers in the end of
I
it.
think what they're also trying to do is like bring in the Snoop Dogg stuff language from back in the day into glizzy.
If we go back to Rizzles and Jizzles and shit, I'll be all in on it. I'll be right there,
Yeah.
dude.
And then they also, because another slang thing that is from back in the day is stan. I stand this, I stand that.
Oh, like a
Yeah.
Taylor
It's an
Swift
Eminem
stand?
song. But to them, they're like, oh, it's from this oldies song, which is pretty weird.
Yeah,
Stan.
yeah. This old, yeah. Back
This
when
old tiny
Eminem,
song.
back when Eminem's kid didn't have a podcast.
Yeah, right, exactly.
I do
Yeah.
feel like I can't wait to be completely because I'm an UNK at heart. I'm 26, but it's like I don't know. The young niggas piss me off. I would just like as a whole. Like I don't know. I finally feel old for the first time. Sabrina Carpenter is like the big new hot
Singer, right?
Yeah, it's like all the young kids. Like I couldn't name one Sabrina Carpenter song. I kind of like that.
That you can't do it.
Well, it's stressful. When you're 21, you got to keep up with all the fucking. You get judged. That's your currency. It's like I have no life experience, so I have to know who Sabrina Carpenter is. Yeah,
dude, you full on. It's you know why? Because there's a border there. Like there's like a it is a moment
Yeah.
where you're like, this is the first time this is happening.
This is great.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it is kind of a thing where I like the idea that you're like, yeah, I'm okay with it. Like,
Well,
I'm comfortable.
I'm married. It's like I'm gonna get some fatter cheeks here at a point. The six pack's gonna go away. Let's start judging kids and telling them to get the fuck off our lawn.
Yeah, this has become old as fast as possible. I gotta be honest. In my 30s, I'm 46.
Yeah.
In my 30s, I probably was like the opposite. Like, I wasn't there yet for that. I was probably like, I want to make it seem like, and I also didn't even notice that. I think because of comedy, I think you would know enough about pop culture that you were like, oh, I kind of stay in it somewhat.
Zeitgeist a little
and
bit.
even people I was the way I would talk, or not even talk, but you'd hear somebody say something and you would get it.
Yeah.
But in my 40s, I'm where you're at with that moment where I'm like, I don't know what it is, and I'm pretty okay with it.
That's
And I'm
actually
like,
cool.
That's crazy
Yeah.
to get to Sabrina Carpenter that deep. Like, I'm pretty sure, like, the Sabrina Carpenter of him in his 40s he's not even going to be close to being there. But the fact that you're
No.
like on the zeitgeist and you know that
I know who she is.
Yeah.
that's pretty
The only
impressive.
reason I know who she is because I have to have. I'm starting to realize now, if I wasn't doing comedy stuff and whatever else, I wouldn't. I have an Instagram, but it'd be like for pictures of my girlfriend's son and my family and stuff like that.
Yeah,
it would. I'd be that guy at this point. I wasn't for a while.
Yeah.
But only reason I know all this stuff now is because I'm scrolling and I have a podcast and I'm trying to understand, talk about things. And
You also run
need,
younger kids
relevant
doing
references.
comedy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Damn, which doesn't that sound nice to just be in an alternate universe, have 407 Instagram followers and post like private pictures of your in-laws?
Oh,
and
dude,
shit?
your profile photo's a bush. Just like no discerning qualities to it.
Whatever you want. Hey, I saw this nice pigeon today.
Yeah, it's like, did you record any podcasts this week? You're like, I talked to another human off camera.
I interacted with people that mean something to me.
I got 4 comments.
Yeah, yeah.
And I know all of them personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That
it
is
doesn't
kinda
become like, because that's what it's become for us. It's like, it's just either your whole existence or it's partially the bane of your existence, and it's it just becomes such a fucking mess as opposed to what it used to be, which is like a mess for a different reason, where it was like it was with comedy. It was like, hey, you kind of had a path, you could have a path, but you worry just as much, but not where you're like, hey, I was talking to my friend about this today, where you're like, oh, all right, so I'll get to a certain point in comedy, and then I have to know marketing,
Right.
I have to know web development,
Visuals,
I have to know
audio.
yeah, I have to know SEO. I
Yeah.
have to know all this stuff. At least that wasn't the case 10 years ago.
Before
Yeah.
was it like I just got to be funny, and then there's somebody else, some Jewish guy named Hyman will come in, handle the whole thing.
Probably Morty. That's way back in the day.
Good old Mort's gonna
Morty.
come in.
Yeah.
Morty's he's gonna take it to the top, kid.
Yeah, you walk into his office, he's like, Bubby!
Bubby!
Go sit down, go sit down, go sit down. Great
We're
news.
going to Hollywood.
I would have loved to meet one
Hollywood,
of those once.
Florida. You're going to love it.
You're gonna play Donald Duck in a new
Yeah.
I'm gonna
presentation.
take you to Miami, kid, all the way to the top, and I mean Miami of Ohio.
Let me
That's-
tell you, it doesn't pay much.
I would have loved to meet one of those. I mean, I'm sure they still exist today, but now it's like it's just not that version of the sleazy, basically
No.
car salesman.
They
You know
work
what
through
it is?
Instagram
It's
DMs.
their nephews and nieces.
yeah.
Oh, yeah?
That's a lot of time.
But it's some nepo baby now who's like, look, kid,
Yeah.
I'm going to take you to the top here because I've done it before, obviously. And by me, I mean my uncle, and he crushed it.
And yeah. And also, like, what the top means has changed a lot. A
Yeah.
lot. It's like,
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
everybody has to have their own top now.
Yeah.
So that sounds way more sexual than I meant it to me.
No,
but
no, you can kind of call it.
No.
We're pro calling tops around here.
I mean, at my career's top, what will be my top? Jason Momoa. I think.
Jesus Christ.
I mean, if I'm at
you
where I
went
want to
real
be,
quick with that one.
yeah,
Yeah.
why would big Samoan fella, huh? But which version of him? Like when he's still jacked or when he gets in his real, like, thick dad phase? Because he has two.
I want thick dad, but can still throw an axe.
Like action Jason or a comedy
No,
Jason? Like
no,
when
I'd
he's playing
say-
a genie in that thing.
I'd say out of an action
Action
movie, getting ready for a comedy movie, so we can just get those good dinners together. I can imagine him sitting down, just being like, "Do you want 19 steaks, and then I can bear you?"
It
And
never
I'm like,
sounded more sugary than being like, I don't need all 6 of the dabs. I'll just take the 4 in between shoots. It's still better than most.
It's still good.
But he's a good movie star. Great movie star.
Kid's all right.
He's good. Fast and the Good
I
villain.
was
Fast and the
about
Furious.
to say Fast and the Furious. He impressed me.
Sean, don't tell me you're in still on Fast and Furious 17.5.
1,000.
That's
If you, this will be studied years from now as one of the most quizzical things that happened in filmmaking.
Yeah.
Because somebody said this. It's a great for anybody listening, like it's a great thing to do if you haven't seen any of them. Watch the first one and then watch the most recent one, and you're going to go, what the fuck?
From full Wigger Paul Walker all the way to like where we're at now.
Exactly. Like you will not. I don't know anybody who could sit there and go, "This is how they got there."
Yeah.
I give you 10 of the steps, at least 10 of the steps of how they got there. Think about it. They went from street racing thieves, local thieves, to international mercenary that sometimes work for the government that don't. That literally took a Pontiac Fiero or whatever the fuck it was
to space.
Like and I think there's two groups of fans. This is why I love it so much. There's two groups of fans for Fast and the Furious.
Yeah.
The ones who are in on it and the ones who are not. So I think there is like dudes, like broy dudes that watch it and they go, it's all about family. It's about family.
Well, look at the Hemi engine on
yeah, exactly. And then there's dudes that are like, they're just trying to make it as ridiculous as they can.
And they get a little enjoyment of watching the first guy watch the movie as well.
Exactly.
There's the dudes who have a drinking game out of it who are just like, this is silly. And then the guys who are just being like, I got my Coronas, I got my wife beater,
I got my chain.
Yeah.
I got my Vin Diesel poster.
Vin Diesel's looking tight. It's all CGI, you dumbass.
They want to talk about like real life background stuff that affects it.
Yeah.
You know, the fact that they won't be on screen together.
The Rock, they have to shoot at different times.
Oh, Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Hobbs and Shaw.
That one was even kind of basically a superhero movie, low key, wasn't it? Didn't they bring Idris Elba in and he kind of had superpowers?
Kind of. Yes. He did. Yeah.
They were just like, they fought in a waterfall and were just like throwing rocks at each other's head and just like nothing happened.
I'm on board. And also, all of that aside, all the mysticism of the Fast and the Furious world.
Yeah.
It's impressive because they're doing a lot of the same ideas over and over again, but like it's impressive the action things that are filmed. Like when you have a car literally fucking with a submarine on ice and you're filming it, making it look believable. I gotta give it up for that. Like that's
sick.
hard to do. Like
to have The Rock like from a helicopter on a car, like holding it with a chain. You're like, I know his arm would rip off, but it looks pretty.
When
fucking
they whip
cool.
the car on the chain back, like they get in it and the helicopter whips the chain back into the building.
Yeah.
It's constant action.
What's more impressive, that or Mission Impossible?
I think
Mission Impossible, you have a
has
6-year-old doing the stunts. You have Tom Cruise doing this. So Mission Impossible is probably a better movies.
Yeah.
The second to last, the one, not the very last one, that was good. The one before, the one with Henry Cavill, that fight scene I think is badass.
that was tight.
And I think the way they filmed it, everything about it, and it kind of. So I think that those are probably better. But
Okay.
And the fact that Tom Cruise, they have that famous story that Matt Damon tells where Tom Cruise talks, and when he got the safety guy, he's like, so I go to my safety guy and I go, I want to do this stunt. He's like, you can't, there's too much liability insurance. He goes, so I get a new safety guy. Which shows you like kind of like the world that he lives in. He's like, I just do what I want.
Yeah, I need a guy that plays ball, otherwise you're gone here.
Tom Cruise, if you see Maverick, Tom Cruise is just like still on top as a movie
Still
star.
got it, huh?
He still got it. The guy's 62, I think now.
He wasn't too bad in The Mummy.
Mummy, I didn't even see. But
He wasn't too bad.
But did you ever see that clip? Not to bring up 15,000 clips, but where on a red carpet where Steven Spielberg is thanking Tom Cruise for saving movies with Maverick.
What?
He basically meaning like Maverick was such a go to the movies to see the movie.
Yeah.
And it was like the first one to do that really hit that made people go, oh, people are going back to the movies. Steven Spielberg like knew that and like brought it up to him at like some other event. I don't think it was at the premiere of Maverick. It was somewhere else.
Because okay, it kind of was. It wasn't like a whole lot of besides the football scene where they're like both on offense for some weird reason. But
yes, and you don't even know how the rules are, and it's like
it's just shirtless hot niggas.
Just catch the ball,
and
dude.
Yeah.
That's the point of it, basically. It's
Look good, catch the ball.
look good to catch the ball.
They got the dude from Twisters in there. I watched a little clip. It was on
Glenn Powell?
Yeah, they had Miles Teller on Monday Night Football last night, and they were talking about that scene. So I brought it up. 'Cause they're like, both of the Mannings are like just very serious, and they're like, "Who was on offense here?" And Miles is like, "I don't fucking know. It's a stupid scene."
He's shooting a movie.
Hey, dude.
But I think that one might be better. I think Maverick might be better than the first Top Gun. Sorry.
No, I was just saying it's crazy for like fucking what's the like
and
the
Eli?
Yeah, just to be like, what's your route here? Just being like, I'm in a fighter ship.
Well, they were, and Miles looked back at him like, "Dog, are you for real serious?" And then it just went right over Peyton's
Yeah.
head. He's like, "Yeah, tell me the front on this right here."
Yeah. Yeah, I want you to watch Whiplash and then come back to me about my drumming skills.
Yeah, he's like, can you John Madden marker boards this thing up for us?
So here's what's going on.
See, that to me is, I think, going to be the future, but also like the dream. Like they're going to get rid of the first down Jets. We're going to like the ESPN old kind of what do they call it?
Commentator?
No, Mid-Atlantic, whatever the hell, like the old school.
Oh, the voice?
Yeah,
the accent?
Yeah, the ESPN voice. That'll go away, and you'll eventually just get, like, Pat McAfee is crushing the game right now as far as like just breaking sports barriers. I can't wait to see that, where you get like a comic and Tom Brady on Sunday Night Football, and that's
I think you're probably right. Unless it's happened already. Like,
they kind of do it like Jake Paul.
They bring
fights
Frank
the ones
Caliendo in all the time, right?
Yeah,
like the impressions and stuff.
Yeah, I guess he is really, really big in the sports world. But like I'm saying, for like you'll have your play-by-play guys still, but then you bring in like
colormen, like
the UFC does it kind of, except Joe doesn't necessarily like, he's not there to be funny. You bring a comedic in specifically to be like the funny guy.
Oh yeah,
dude. Snoop Dogg is kind of the man at doing both, dude. And him and those Jake Paul fights, they had him like commentate one, and then they realized he can't do it because the entire time he's like, "Yeah, get him!"
Well, that's
like the entire time.
That's where you blend it. You get like a person who does. You have the knowledge of like a Rogan does about MMA, but the gloves are off. So like the Pat McAfee show, which is basically just Sports Center, they do 3 hours. The first hour is on ESPN. It's real, no cussing, no speaky, whatever. The last 2 hours are on ESPN Plus and YouTube, and they do 100,000 views a day. And it's you can say whatever it is you want, but they still have licensing to the sport, to the showing all the real highlights while also being like, this guy fucking sucks.
So you'll think I'll just get more and more like that?
I think so, yeah. Like, what's the point of 7-year-olds? I think are getting more accustomed to hearing shit. So it's like, you know,
yeah, it doesn't have to be like all prim and proper.
Yeah, you can be like, "What the catch the fuck?" I would love to hear an ex-player scream, "Catch the fucking ball!" like everyone else at home
like
is.
say what actually is in his mind.
Yeah. Like you really want to scream and be like, "No, this nigga sucks. Get him off of my TV."
I never thought of that. You're right, because they have that angle of those guys where it's like it's still like 1975, and they show up in the suits and they're all like lined up and
they look at the screen, not each other while they're talking. It's weird.
It's very the commentator. It's not. It's not natural.
It's the only hangover still, I think, in like modern media. That and the news. That's like,
I'm wondering, but because you must watch a lot of it, but don't they give you a lot of information about the sport that you're like watching football? When they're like dissecting the first half, aren't you going like, "Oh, I didn't think of that"? And if you had a comic being like, "But what about his ass hanging out?" Like if you had that, like that would ruin it for the time. Yeah,
you still have the guy who went to journalism school. It's kind of like Kenny, not Kenny. Who's the basketball fool? The one white dude on the TNT crew.
Oh,
Ernie. It's like Ernie. You get the one guy who actually went to Harvard journalism school, and you get him into like know how to speak, but then you bring in some
they're
like
crushing it. The whole TNT.
They're breaking up.
No, Ernie's the whole gang, like Shaq, Ernie, Charles.
It's the last season of TNT, because what I think is going to happen is they're going to go independent.
All of them individually are going to go independent.
No, they're going to take their show and go.
Oh, okay, that's fine. I just want them to all to stay together
and make a shit ton of money.
Oh yeah, because now you can have it.
There's more views on YouTube on a nightly basis than there is on TNT cable.
And plus, NFL owns like. YouTube TV is like exclusively broadcasted on NFL, right?
They do the NBA, but yeah, they have.
The NBA.
The NBA has a deal with YouTube TV too. I didn't even ask. Are you a big sports guy? I'm just talking about a bunch
I
about
have
sports.
been more lately than I was in the past.
Okay.
So like I try to like follow the Giants each year, which is
real painful,
depressing, and then the Mets, and the Mets are. Right now, we're doing pretty good. I think
you're following the Giants, aka Cock versus Hammer Weekly. Yeah,
I went to their stadium for the first time. It's actually really, and I like went to it, but I went to I took my lady to the U.S. Open at like that whole campus.
Oh, nice! Thing. Yeah, that's cool.
Fucking ridiculous. But they have the Mets stadium like right across the street.
Stadium's great.
Just smells like sausage. Everyone's talking like I imagined they would talk.
Yes,
it's awesome, dude. And everyone's there.
You're from Arizona, right?
Yeah.
So you're going there like, this is the most New York thing ever.
It's crazy. Anytime I hear someone with that accent, it still doesn't feel real to me. I feel like they're still going to be like, "No, I'm just kidding, man. I'm just messing. What do you want? A chopped cheese?"
Dude, you don't even. I have somewhat of an accent, like, but like it's not as bad as some people like from New York. I'm from Long Island, but first time I went to California, it really opened my eyes because my sister's roommate, her boyfriend, he was really into like Wu-Tang and like New York things, right?
Yeah.
So the Bay Area white kid from California, and I was sitting in his seat. And he got up from his seat. I sat down. He comes back from the kitchen. I thought he was like not sitting anymore. So I go, "Oh, take your seat." And he goes, "No, it's okay." I go, "No, go ahead." And he goes,
"Go ahead."
You would have thought that I did. A dove came out of my asshole. Like, it was like the way this guy freaked out over. He goes, go ahead. No, what's that? What's go ahead? What's go ahead? What is that?
What is that?
I go, it's go ahead. And he was like, oh, I love it. He's like freaking out. And you don't, unless you go out there, like, I wouldn't go to West Coast that often. You don't realize people don't
dude,
know.
you're a civilized man coming to a third world tribe, dude.
Yeah.
There's a lot of go aheads. There's a lot of, let me tell you.
You have Skittles? You have fucking Skittles, dude? What the fuck is up? Did they seriously win the Super Bowl on your shirt?
We have a lighter.
But because you're from Long Island, you probably got people in your family that talk, I mean, almost pseudo-English, I would imagine, where it's like their accent is thicker than a Snicker.
Yeah, like it's my sister and my mom have gotten, it's pretty deep these days. Like awesome. That's awesome. Awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, there's certain words.
I feel like fucking so it's like, that's fucking awesome.
That's more Boston, I think.
Yeah?
Fucking awesome. Fucking, and the A is different.
It's been
that's
listening to
fucking awesome.
I'm still trying to differentiate. I want to go to that. I've been to Boston since I've been up here, and I want to go to Philly to hear the fucking...
Philly's
full trash bag.
How do they do it? You say water. That's
Water.
Yeah, they have a weird accent.
You want to go to Wawa, get a hoagie?
Yeah, there you go. That's it. Yeah, there you go.
That's more like what they call it, the Yinzer accent up there. Up there.
Yeah, go Birds.
Steel Curtain.
But Long Island, it's like you can always hear me say, I say Long Island as one word. It's like there's no space. There's no space in between it.
Like New Orleans.
Like New Orleans. Yeah, exactly.
Because we live technically, I'm trying to figure out, is Brooklyn Long Island, or you guys cut that shit
That
off?
is Bloods and Crips.
Yeah.
That's a big point of contention. They're like, basically, they're all in the same landmass.
We don't own those fucking queers in Bushwick. We don't own those fucking queers.
As an outsider coming in, it definitely does seem like one side clearly doesn't want the other, and not the other way around.
There's such a thing as white flight, I'll tell you right now. The farther they went out, there's an old Jim Brewer bit when he's like, you ever talk to a Long Islander about going to the city? They go, I don't want to go to the city. I got to switch to Jamaica? Like Jamaica? You know how many of my friends said that back in the day? I'm not going with you guys. I got to switch to Jamaica?
I can't do that. Well, it's like it's a fucking culture shock when you move, because like Arizona is just where they print like sun bleach white people, and then you come out here and it's like literally where I live in Bed-Stuy. It's like they got a fish pond that has more followers than all of us put together right out front of my fucking house, and then they have like at night it's just this big feeding hole almost. So like you see those like Nat Geo videos where it's like, because of the water, the gazelle, the zebra, and the lion all feast together. Whatever the fuck, they'll have a lesbian, a hood black dude, and like just some random bro from Brooklyn all sitting around this fucking fish pond. Like nowhere else. The lesbian
just hanging out?
Yeah, the lesbian bought weed from the black guy.
It's communal watering hole.
When you say fish pond, are they fishing or is it to watch the fish?
No, so
that would be amazing.
It's they have fishing spots in Brooklyn that you'd be like, this is out of nowhere.
Yeah, I fish my ass off. I want to go to a Prospect Park and fish. And
we got to fish together.
I want to catch a fish in Central Park too. You just have to you just get yelled at by Hasids and Italian bros. But like,
I was about to say,
how long have you been here for?
Month.
Oh, get out of here!
Yeah.
Oh wow.
New. So still trying to figure out.
And how about you?
Coming up on 2 years in December.
And you came from
Arizona.
So same place.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll do House of Comedy when I'm in Arizona.
Yeah, I think that's where I met you.
I think that's right. That's what I thought.
HOC is fun. Ricky Bronson, we've had him on the podcast.
Have you?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a character.
Good old Rick. I like a nice. I can't wait to be old one day and just start dressing wealthy, even if I'm not. Just to have two nice blazers with satin insides.
So it looks like you're playing the part a little bit. Yeah. I like their clubs a lot. They're very. I like, especially Tammy. Tammy, I like even more. And one time they had that club at the House of Comedy, and they would put you up sometimes in the Radisson that's in the mall.
Oh,
so I've lived in a mall for a week.
I've done that club twice. The Minnesota one.
Yeah.
I threw you in the Radisson Blue down the way.
Yes, it's nice.
Oh, let me tell you, dude, he was a pig in shit.
It's a nice hotel. Have you been there?
No, I've never been to Minnesota.
Minnesota's cool. Minneapolis is actually a cool city.
More than I thought.
Yeah, same here.
Didn't realize it was a Somalian capital of the world. You just walk into the mall and you're like, holy shit.
There's a lot of Somalian refugees there. But that hotel is like, you get in there, you're like, well, this is nice.
This shit's cool.
A couple times they put me in the other one because they couldn't get it or
the
whatever.
The one off the mall?
It's crazy.
It's not bad. It's clean and it's great. But I got to walk 10 minutes to this fucking hotel. But it's like, there's no reason not to go do it.
Yeah, I do. It's crazy to think about a Somalian guy working out in Auntie Anne's. Like an all Somalian Auntie Anne's. It's fucking nuts.
It is. It's a fucking...
all Somalian guys working at a Sbarro's in the middle of the mall.
Well, the crazy thing about Phoenix, because you guys are Phoenix, right? So it's like, One thing I think about like comics, anybody would don't know is like they have tons of clubs there.
Like 4 fucking legit. There's the Improv, Stand Up Live, and then the Desert Ridge Improv.
You can make a grip of cash in Phoenix.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. And now they have like CBs or
it's now the Desert Ridge Improv.
Desert Ridge Improv.
They're all owned by the same. They actually have fucking beef with old Ricky and Tan. They opened up a club fucking
like 5 seconds away.
Literally, you could get off stage and be on the next stage.
Throw a wet Nerf football and hit the other club.
Yeah, I saw her going off about that online.
Dude, I got shit. It was the funniest shit when they first opened up what was CB Live, now is Desert Ridge Improv. They sent out a mass email for everyone on their booking list to Arizona comedians and just said, if you like, House of Comedy was like, if you work CB Live, Tempe Improv, Stand Up Live, you are no longer allowed to work House of Comedy. And I just messaged back to like the mass email. I'm like, none of you guys book me. So it's first come, first serve.
Just go for broke.
Literally none of you book me.
My loyalty is for sale. Just give me a spot, you maniacs.
I'm like, it's almost insulting that you would say I have to choose because I have given the choice to either one of you, and both of you have slammed the door in my face.
Is it gang violence like that out here, or is it with
the clubs?
Yeah.
So
I know you can't work the pair if you're at the cellar.
That's not entirely true. I've worked at the cellar for a while, and like, it's nobody ever says to you can't. Nobody ever says to you can't work the pair. Like, it's almost like what I did was this. Like, I just stopped working those other places because, especially when you first started the cellar, they work you so much. I'm like, I don't want to jeopardize the situation. It's like better shows, better pay. They're really good at the comics. But nobody ever said, hey, just so you know, you can't go there. Now, is there a thing that if they find out that you work both, you might get less spots?
What is the second to the cellar?
Second to the cellar?
Is it just strictly within like the village area?
Over there, or you mean in general in the city?
I just mean in general. Like, is there a club?
New York Comedy Club, I think.
Oh, yeah?
I think as far as shows go and value, like, I think New York Comedy Club, I'll only work there a few times a month. But I think they treat the comics really well. Mm-hmm. I think the shows are on the weekends especially because they pack the crap out of it.
Yeah.
And the original New York Comedy Club, even when the old guy owned it, who just passed away, but he was an asshole. He was. Sorry, we were sick.
I like it how it didn't.
Family.
There's two
there's
two ways that you say that. There's either two ways that you say that.
Yeah.
It's either there's the caveat of being like he just passed away, rest in peace, aka he treated me nicely. Everyone else just being like he passed away, and let me tell you, and then the rest of it.
He was like, if you want to talk about like an old guard type thing of comedy, it's like that was what that guy was.
Yeah,
he took advantage of people, whatever it was. It sucks. I feel bad for his family that he passed away. Apparently, he was a good dad, but fuck that. It wasn't my dad.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah. So fucking. But even when he owned it and that place was crowded, that 24th Street New York Comedy Club on the weekend, which is like their original room, now it's owned by a different guy, was an absolute kill box. It was a great club.
Low ceilings, black walls,
low ceilings,
pretty much.
and then just packed them in, and then good audiences, good mood, you know, good shows. But now it's even better because they give a shit about the comics, and they're
3 rooms too, though, huh?
And now they have 4. They have Upper West Side. They have 4th Street, they have 24th, and they have Stanford.
Yeah.
And they run them well. They're good shows. But Cellar just has so much history.
Yeah.
Like, you know what it was? It's like places like the Stand and stuff like that. Like back in the day, like way before my time even, Cellar was like what they are now. Oh, not Stand. Stand's been around for a while. New York's been around for a while, but the lower ones are like the little guys. That's what Cellar was back in like the 80s because it was the improv. The original improv was there, like on 50 whatever street. So this you're talking like late 70s, early 80s when like stand up started.
Yeah.
So now they just had all this time to become this like behemoth of. They just have so much
Seinfeld
history,
and Louis and them
they
helped.
They treat the comics really well, and they're a good group of people, and they pack. God, they do who knows 30 shows a week or not a week more. They do on the weekend night. 14 shows.
Holy fucking
14 shows
shit.
between the rooms in the city or something crazy like the 16 shows, something
That's insane.
And then times that by during the week and maybe a little bit less, whenever it is. So they're doing 100 shows a week, say, right?
Line in one man's pocket.
What?
I said, really line in one man's pocket.
Oh yeah, they spot pay, but yeah.
No, yeah.
Yeah. But
that's coming out of some server's tips.
Yeah, one guy's making a bazillion dollars.
A shit ton of money.
Yeah, exactly. But I say New York's. A lot of people I think would say Stand is second, and Stand is a good club. I don't work the Stand as much as I used to, but like, and it is a good club, but I think New York is a better club. I definitely do.
Yeah.
Because I think just based on what I said, I think just shape of room and like, you know how sound can travel in these rooms, you know?
That is, yeah. I've been trying to like kind of find my fucking little niche, going out and seeing all these places, and it's just a different like. Where we come from, we were so goddamn spoiled. You started in like this market, right? So you're used to.
The first place I headlined was a 550 person room. I mean, not the first person I opened, not hosted, not headlined. Hosted was a 550 person room. Sold
It was
out.
when
Stand
Phoenix?
Up Live.
Yeah, Stand Up Live.
Yeah. And right. So you come down here and you're like, oh, I have these. It's 180.
Or even just like on
90.
the
Yeah, like
lower.
that's like a medium to small size theater here.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Yeah.
Or even on the lower level, you go to like a good open mic in Phoenix, you got 40 people literally paying attention. Over here, if you can get a show with 40 people on it, like a locally produced show, it's fuck me.
It's huge.
Yeah.
Oh my God, absolutely. That's the trade-off. So you're like, hey, you have tons more spots you can do, tons of ways you can get into different scenes here. But if you're running something, getting people to come to see you is really tough.
Yeah.
And then getting into some of these rooms because it's so many more comics
Oh my
becomes
God.
really tough.
There's so
that's
many
probably why
fucking-
Phoenix is a good scene to start with. Because
In my opinion, it's the best B scene.
You think so? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd say
I mean,
close
Boston's an A
second
scene
to
in my
Philly. Close.
Philly's a good scene.
Yeah, close second to Philly.
Denver apparently has a good scene, but it's very insulated.
they got one club that's worth a damn, and everyone says it's the best club in the country, which is fine.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah, I've never played it. I want to go there just to go to Denver. I've never been to Denver. But
I'm a Broncos fan. Denver's the fucking shit, though.
Yeah.
You like mushrooms and fucking girls with flat asses and snow?
Yeah. Drink one beer and because of elevation, it
Yeah, it
elevates
sucks you
it,
up.
dude.
Yeah.
They're a mile in
Yeah.
the sky drunk off fucking one hot toddy.
Yeah. It's being like, I like the horse at the airport. Like,
I will say the best club I've been to in the country is Comedy on State in Madison.
Yeah. Oh, well,
It is
they're drinkers.
unreal. What?
They're drinkers. Not a whole lot else going on, right?
It's college town. They have sense of humor about themselves, but they're like fair at what they laugh at and stuff
Yeah.
like that. It's great. Yeah, but New York is like one thing I notice is happening, and it's it's kind of based off that don't tell kind of community where it's like these pop-up things are kind of they're not taking over, but it seems to be a way to get into the people who get into those. It's a way to get spots like peripherally while waiting to get whatever
you're trying to get
into, like,
big
the other
clubs,
shit.
whatever it is. Because the guy who runs it is a really good guy. That Kyle guy that runs
Yeah.
that Don't Tell thing, really nice guy, and seems like they have a really good plan.
Yeah.
And it seems like it's blowing up. Like,
Yeah, they're
guys-
doing good shit. Most of the clips that I see come out minimum 100K.
Yeah, and they full on or their production like. The way those clips look, I'm like, you look better than some TV hours that I've seen on Netflix.
That crew films specials on like on the low as well for
Yes,
other like
I've heard
independent
that.
comedians.
But it's a good amount of money. But I heard that it's Which I'm like, if I had a bunch of cash, I'd be like, do it.
Damn
That'd be
space
awesome.
camera. The audio sounds like they're fucking the crowd's in your ear.
Yeah,
like,
they know what they're doing.
Yeah.
So that's worth it right there. And the fact that they're good to comics and so it's like I think that's what's changing.
Yeah.
I think the way of the old showbiz like, hey, you gotta pay your dues. I gotta be a piece of shit for you for 3 years.
Right.
For 3 years. I think that's gone for the most part. Everybody's always gonna feel slighted.
There's new ways.
at some point.
Yeah, there's new ways to Motown.
well,
you
even
know?
at the
there's
biggest,
new ways to Motown.
even at
Sure.
the biggest level too,
Yeah.
the big dudes are moving. Like this year, Hulu seems to be the big streamer.
They're buying, they just
Yeah.
bought Jessica Kirsten's special,
Yeah.
So, yes, that seems to be the switchover because I think Netflix realized like we ran. I don't know what the thought process.
You can't put out a
is.
special every week and then expect the big guys to be like, "What? I'm just gonna get lost in the shuffle."
or
like
you're going
that's
to give me half the money you gave me last time. So
Right.
it's like, and then you have the YouTube things. It's like putting out a YouTube thing. It seems like now it's like, hey, it's like having a podcast. It's like it just seems like, hey, you just do it just to see what you can pull.
Yeah.
It's almost like you're
Yeah.
fishing and you're going like, if I grab a couple people of this,
we
I
were
can get a
having
couple
that. I
gigs.
was talking to one of my other homies who's in like kind of my similar state where it's like I used to think that a special was for a dude who headlined, and he's like, no, now some dudes drop specials to headline. Like that is,
Yeah.
If you have a good hour, a good 30 minutes, you go on the road with a guy who lets you film it. Like, yeah, put that out as your special, and then the fans will find you. Then you can tour off that. Then
Yeah, but it's also a thing. But the more that saturated that gets, the less opportunities for that there is.
Yeah.
And that's the one thing I did agree to about showbiz is always supposed to be kind of the showbiz part of it is always supposed to be kind of a motherfucker, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
everything's a lot. Some things are very unfair. There's things you can literally be like, hey, you got brown hair. Sorry, see ya. Whatever it is, right?
Yeah, can't
Yeah.
go.
You can't get right. But stand up was supposed to be, and it still is in certain circles, in certain ways, the last meritocracy there was. So like,
Which
I
is
think
all good.
yeah, exactly. So it's like that I'm a fan of the idea where it's like, ooh, you honed this until you got to a certain point, and then it came out, and you finally got you're due.
Yeah.
And not that I'm saying that wasn't always the case where, hey, people got stuff before they should have back in the day. But I think it happens more now because of super saturating the market and the online thing, and then going like, here's my half hour. I just put it out there. My friend filmed it for me. Like, I don't blame somebody for doing that. It's like
it's where they've seen it work for people.
Yeah, exactly. And then I can stay in Phoenix, and my clips do really well, and I can pay a quarter of the rent or half the rent or whatever it is.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems so much more attractive than coming here, going broke, and then a lot of people don't want to deal with how New York City is or LA.
I feel that would be my dream one day. It's like everything goes correctly. I want to be living in San Diego, being able to tour from fucking.
Look at Nate Bargatze.
He was in Tennessee, right?
Just
hanging out. 2 goddamn houses.
Yep, he lived here for years when he was starting out. And then when they went to LA, and then realized I got to a point where I can just do what I want.
Do arenas everywhere.
That's the dream right there. Stand up.
I hate to be a
Tristan got to run. You got a spot to say. Do you got anything you want to plug before you get up out of here?
Oh yeah, I have a new podcast. It's called Burb Bros. It's with Dan St. Germain. We're on all the streaming platforms, YouTube, all that jazz. Burb Bros. Check it out. Burbs Bros. Burbs Bros. We tell suburban news stories that are wacky and kind of weird. So check it out. And thanks guys for having me.
Thanks
so
for
much,
being a
Sean.
part.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right, y'all. Tell a friend about the cast.